All right. It's your girl Kay, and I'm back with another banger. So, this episode is going to be about the pros and cons of being an author. So, I have my guest this evening, and he is a author. He's also photography, does graphic design, is born and raised in Detroit but reside in Arizona. He does journalism and assortment of things. He also has a passion for arts, the horror, and spirituality. He is also with five books, not one book, but five books on Amazon, three podcasts he's on, and also a new radio station that just started on Opulence Radio. His name is Troy D. Ryan. So I'm gonna let him come on and get it started.
Hello,
Hey Troy,
hello.
hey.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. So we're gonna talk about the ups and downs and the pros of being an author. So let's get it started. What made you start your journey as a writer?
Oof. I mean, honestly, I've been writing since I was a kid. Like,
Mhm.
I I don't even know what came first. Because I like to write poetry.
Mhm.
I like to write stories. I like to write songs. So it's like somewhere between fourth grade where I won a national poetry contest, and it
Mhm.
was crazy because I just entered a poetry contest just because like I was playing around in poetry. I'm in fourth grade. I'm just not really learning, what it is really and really getting into it. And I won on a poem that I wrote on a whim. So it was like, okay, huh. And between there and college, um, just reaching a point of like acknowledging that I have ADD and there's always a bunch of shit on my mind. I'm like, I need to get some of this shit out. And so it was like um, a mixture of expression as far as emotional expression and creative expression because I just kept having these stories that I think of and I'm like, damn, that'd be cool if I could do that, or what would happen if this happened? And all right, it's an overload. I need to get it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel you because I actually started my writing and everything when I was in elementary and I won the AR test. You remember AR test? I won
That
the
sounds so
AR
familiar.
test and I won a bike. I was so
Hey, okay.
happy. Yes, the love started with reading. So I definitely feel where
Mm,
you came
yes.
from, overload of imagination as a kid. And now it's still, you always imagining things and on overload. Like sometimes I can't even
Man.
sleep because my brain's still going.
Like sometimes I used to like make my dad, it's like one of his favorite stories. Like I would make little magazines in the house. Like I
Hmm.
would mix up stuff that I wrote and then take clippings from random magazines and stuff throughout the house and just mix it up. It'd be a small little 10-page little magazine. I just throw them in the bathroom for people. Like and it was just like little stuff like that. It was always writing was always somewhere in my life.
Hmm. Okay. So how did your journey as a writer begin? Like, what was the first step that you did to solidify being a writer?
Mm, okay. I mean, really, the first step is saying it to myself, like really being like, because I think a lot of times we don't take ourselves serious.
Mhm.
Um, and it wasn't until really me releasing my first poetry book 2 years ago that I really decided. Like I always knew, and I always done it.
Yeah.
Like, but it was like I think it takes that moment of being like, no, this I am a writer,
Right.
and from there, it's really just a matter because even it doesn't even matter if you don't write every day. You know what I'm saying? Or if you
Mhm.
haven't released something in a few years, when you make that declaration, that's kind of it. You know. Um,
Right.
so it's like I that's really what started the journey.
Mhm.
But I would say when I was younger, with because like from being a kid into getting older, I got into so many other things that writing took a bit of a back seat for a second.
Right.
And what happened, like I mentioned, expression. I was in college and love and niggas is going through shit. These niggas
Right.
are always talking
Right.
about peace. So I went through some stuff that I found myself being really depressed. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I need to get this shit out. How do I get it out? I don't know. And I just started writing. And I was like, oh yeah, I do write, don't I? Like, because I forgot. And it became this, coming back to it older, it became a
Mhm.
complete form of expression for me. So like now it's genuinely, it's been like, that was about 12 years ago. And whenever I need to get something out, I'm like, oh, where my notebook at? Okay,
Right.
I had to write this down.
See, definitely. I feel like a lot of people need to see that sometimes you can't hold it in. Like me personally, like you, I started where I was writing all my feelings down, but it took me time to get to where I needed to write, transition from loving to read to write my feelings down because you can bottle it all in so much all the time. And now, I wrote that book, like you said, decoration. You made that one step, even if you got years later and still ain't wrote a book. You wrote
Yes.
that one book, and I told myself I'm not gonna be that person who had that one book. So, stay tuned, maybe.
Okay. But you know, because crazy thing is too, like you never know. It's not like it's something that has an age limit. You know what I'm saying? You can write a book
Right,
at 70. Like so, yeah. It's shit. Yeah, it's always a possibility.
always
Actually, and I'll say too, the other thing was acknowledging that it's okay to suck. I think that helps with my journey, if that makes sense. Like, because I think we don't take ourselves serious, but we overthink things at the same time. So we,
overanalyze everything.
yeah, and so it's like everything you write ain't gonna be a gem. Like,
Right. Like, my
so
first book was a book of poems. And
mhm.
when I look back at it, I was like, hold on. I gotta unpublish because I I edited it forever, but
You still
like
miss
how did
shit.
she let this manuscript slip? No, I gotta republish and edit.
Yeah,
Like ups
yeah.
and down of being the author right there, editing. How you deal with that?
Mm-hmm. You can still miss shit. I just went through that actually. Like, okay, so this book right here, the Cicada Diaries, it's my
Mhm.
first horror book. I love horror. Like I've been into scary shit since I was like 2 years old. Like I don't know, like it's crazy. And so I finally, it was something that I always wanted to do, and I always wrote short stories and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to write a book, like a whole one. And
Mhm.
so I did it, and I mean, I worked on it for 2 years, edited it like so meticulous. And I noticed somebody else, a friend of mine was reading it. And he noticed something that I did in the first fucking paragraph of the oh, in my heart, I was like, God damn it! It's like basically I kind of like resaid something at the end of a sentence. Like it's like okay, so I'll read it right quick. Do you mind?
Okay. No, I don't mind.
It's like
This
it's like a quick little sentence. So it reads: aside from the clock ticking, the only other thing that can be heard is the man's heavy breathing, almost hyperventilating, coming from the man. But I just said that. What? Like, why did I say that?
you really did redundancy, but it's okay.
Yeah, like I didn't notice, so it's like, damn. But I again, that's it's. I've reached the point and I guess it helps because I do other artistic mediums where I don't defeat myself anymore with that. I
Mm.
was like, I had my little moment. I was like, fuck, okay, it's fine. Like,
Right, right.
breathe.
Like on mine, it wasn't even redundancy. It was why is the pages like on like it looks like one page has the poem and then it's blank and then the next poem and then one page has the poem and then flipped on it just look
I get what you mean. Yeah,
organized. Like I like pages of poems mixed up together that don't supposed to be happening. I'm like,
yeah.
I supposed to had a publishing company. What happened, baby? We finna get into
Okay.
that question. When
Okay.
becoming an author, did you self publish or do traditional?
I did self publish. Um, I've recently had a couple conversations with some publishers, but I chose the self publish route um, because it was something that I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do with the
Mm-hmm.
first one. And then after that, I was like, well, this is kind of fucking easy. All right, well, shit. Let me do the next one like that. And the next one. Like, so this is pretty much how it went. But I have had some talks. It seems like there's benefits to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but right now, from everything that I've done myself, it's like I don't really see them being too involved other than marketing
Right.
for me. So it's like, I mean, I'm kind of doing pretty decent with that too. So I don't know. I don't know.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I feel like when it comes to the self publishing and traditional publishing, traditional people try to get at us because they feel like, oh, we'll do better at marketing for you. The book won't stay on the shelf and go dusty, and you're just selling it to your family and all. We got you. But meanwhile, they really don't because you still got to push yourself. So I'm like, why we
Mhm.
just X out the middleman, have ourselves.
Yeah. Literally, yeah. That's kind of because like I do graphic design and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I make my trailers and little graphics for it. So I don't need y'all for that. Um, I can edit.
Trick
I
of
can
all
edit there. Like
trades. Trick of
yeah.
all
So it's
trades. Like,
like yeah.
yeah. So, what can be the downsides of being an author?
Woo. Um, I think the first one is imposter syndrome. Um, when so my first three books are poetry books. It's like a poetry trilogy, sort of like a story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been writing forever, like I said. So that I was super confident about. It's like it's poetry. I've written poems for weddings and recited them. One contest. So it's like I know what I'm doing there. So I was
Mm-hmm.
fine. But then when I wrote the horror book, it was like this overwhelming feeling of like because of I think my love of horror, it was like who the fuck do you think you are? You think you write a horror book? You ain't gonna say shit. Like I don't know. It's like that whole thing that just kicks in, and I'm like, no, like get past it because you have a passion for this. You love this. You know what you're doing. You care. Like it's not like I wrote it just like oh, fuck it. Let me just no. I care about the characters. I care about what it's about. Um, I did research, like like this.
Mm-hmm.
It means something. So it was like it's that first step of and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It's just releasing anything where there's that part of you that's like you don't deserve to have your words read, to have your work in this genre or this industry, like and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people I think sometimes some people give into that, but I say fuck that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you are enough and you can do it, I say go out there and keep doing it. Cause guess what? The man who made Get Out, he did it. Baby, he black. Baby, he killed it
Uh,
and made others from and etc. And that thing
yeah,
scared. So
man. And I'm loving seeing like more black people in horror too. Just side note, like that's what I'm trying to, like
yeah.
that's our shit. But like it made me think of another downside too. It's getting past the thought of because of course as an artist you want your work read and looked at and
Mm-hmm.
you want a million like it's not even so much as you want a million copies sold for yes for the money that's great but also like damn a
Mm-hmm.
million motherfuckers read my book like like so it's also getting past not everybody always gonna get it like some of them might gonna sell the best like I have
Right.
5 books some have definitely sold better than others and that that can be a downside sometimes in the beginning I think because you like it's intimidating and you feel like oh shit well maybe not just like nope just keep going give them some more.
Definitely. I feel you where you're coming from because you get so much in your head like monetization, like oh my gosh, this book not selling as fast as I thought. But then on the other side, you could be like, I did it. Oh, I'm still
Hmm.
doing it. And it doesn't really matter about um how fast it's gonna sell. It's a residual income, and it's about
Hmm.
your marketing, and it's gonna sell, period. And it's
Hmm.
about you accomplishing goals.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so
And the
I
more you
wouldn't
put
really.
yourself out there, yeah, like how you mentioned, it's like it's about you putting yourself out there. The more you put yourself out there, the more your work gets out there. So yes,
Mhm. They only know so much if you allow them to know.
yeah, yeah. You can't
I,
have five, like yeah, like you can't have 5 books and then not be talking about having 5 books. Like how the fuck we gonna know? You know?
you got to talk about it in every sentence. Like I know
Telling you.
me. They say you're supposed to market yourself every day at any moment. And I just got into that point, because they'll be like, my daddy will be like, why you didn't tell me you got a book? Like, I'm just now
Yeah.
saying, because I didn't have the confidence because what I told you
Yeah.
about unediting and publishing. But I'm getting back
Yep.
there. Definitely feel like you should market yourself 24/7.
Oh yeah. Any chance you fucking get, any chance.
Any
I'm
chance.
telling you, I'll be like, you said what? Oh, cicada. Eat those bugs outside. Speaking of, the Cicada Diaries is available now on Amazon.com.
Right.
Like,
24/7 on repeat.
you got you. I'm telling you.
What are the aspects of being what are the aspects of being an author? Like what type of perks come with it to you?
For me, my favorite is well, it's two. The first one is it's a confidence booster for me.
Mm-hmm.
Artistically, it just gives me more of that push. I'm like, shit, all right, book number 5. All right, let's where number 6 at? Shit, let's go. Number 7, 8, I'm making plans for book number 10. You know, like it was like literally after the first one, and I dropped off 5 in the past 2 years, literally. Um,
Mm.
and it was like with the poetry books, it is different because it's a collective of poems
Yeah.
over like a decade, but it still was some newer things, and I had to curate it. But
Mm-hmm.
after the first one, and I dropped it, I was just like, all right. It was like a little, okay, let's go to the second one. And the second one came out, I was like, well, shit. Let's do number three. It's like the
Right.
more you do it, it just feels like I said, I'm a writer. So now I can
Mm-hmm.
genuinely, when I say it, ain't no backing down, ain't no looking away. No, I'm a writer. you know?
Confident.
Um, yeah. The other thing is, like I mentioned too, getting shit out.
Mhm.
Like with the poems, like I said, it was collective of like a decade of writing. It was like I was able to clear out notebooks and notes from my computer and
Yeah.
my phone. It was like shit, whoo, get this shit out of here. like,
Gotta find notebooks
um,
everywhere.
yeah. So I was able to clear out stuff, and like with the right, like the horror book or whatever. It's like it's really just I love being able to get it out because I'm the type that
Mm-hmm.
I will hold on to a story for years mentally, because I won't forget it, and it'll start to build and almost become like a whole little world. I'm like, okay, I need to do something with this. like,
Right. Make
yeah.
a
So I
movie or
literally have,
something.
yeah, yeah. So like, I literally have some things that, like, I have one story that I've had since I was in 10th grade, and I haven't rewritten it in a while, and I have the whole thing up here. Like, I just
Mm-hmm.
remember it. So it's like it helps me get that shit out.
Right. See, I'm the opposite. I have to write it down, like right in there. Like as soon as I think
Mhm.
of it, I have to write it out. And if it's something real prominent for me to continue to think about, it's gonna keep occurring till I get it
Mhm.
done. So I definitely
Yep.
agree. All right. So how did your early life experiences shape your expectations and career choices?
Mm, shit. Life was life then. But I think the legit, it was like I've had a lot of. I feel like I lived a lot of different lives, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's having. I've always been like an open kind of person, so like having had so much experience in so many different areas of life,
Mhm.
and relating that, like I mentioned when I kind of sent to you like the bio, however, um,
Mhm.
spirituality and art for me. I try to kind of blend those worlds with my work. And so it's like I've always also been an empath. I've always been able to feel people. So it was like bringing that to my words. It I'll say like yeah. So that's I mean yeah that's it. Like having been an empath most of my life and bringing that to my words, it kind of shaped my the way that I write almost.
Mhm.
And the fact that I decided to be a writer because it's like I've written things, like I said, I've written something commissioned for a wedding before.
Mhm.
I've written things that made people cry before. Like I've had people literally read my shit and just like bust out. I'm like, I'm sitting there like, oh shit, did you just cry? Are you okay? Like I'm
Right.
asking if you okay. They like looking at me like, no, are you okay? Like, so it's that, and then I actually come from writing parents. My mom and dad both made music when they were younger, and my dad was like
Mm.
a freestyle rapper from Detroit,
Okay.
and my mom, she was a singer and a rapper, like, and a poet. So yeah,
Okay then, in a lineage,
yeah,
in the
yes,
lineage.
yes,
Definitely,
yes.
it is a very impact when you have those around you who also do,
Mm-hmm.
in the arts and everything. Is very booster and motivator, and you got your support crew with you. Definitely, I
Mm-hmm.
think I didn't find out my grandmother was a poet until I got older and I did my book. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, my grandbaby got my talent." I was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
and I
Oh, that's lovely. I
did
love
it.
that.
Right.
Okay, I love that. Like, yeah, like it's like for me, like I would watch like my dad freestyle, and I swear I don't. It's been a couple years since he's done it. He
Mhm.
like in his 50s now, but I swear up until like 45, like homie was like the best. Just give him a word and he just going, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like
Mhm.
that transitioned into me writing because it taught me how to quick write or like think on my toes.
Right.
So it was like, oh, okay, I got that. And my mom, her writing was always just so deep because she wasn't an expressive
Mhm.
person. So
Mhm.
what she wrote was like she wasn't emotional,
Right.
but she was, and I was just like, you wrote that? Damn, girl. Like,
The
yeah,
pen is powerful. The pen is
yes,
powerful.
yes.
Like even
Words
do
matter.
you write more poetry or do you perform it too as in spoken word?
I haven't in a while done the spoken word
Mhm.
part. Like, I mean, I make videos and stuff like that, or if I come on pods, I've shared. But like official spoken word, I haven't done in a while. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, I love to perform it too. Like, I feel like because some things I write almost in a musical cadence because I
Mhm.
have done music and dabbled in music before. So it's
Yeah.
like some of my poems when I'm writing them, I'm singing them actually.
Right.
So like I like to like perform them so I can at least get that world of like music and poetry together a little bit. So it
Mhm.
almost sound like I'm rapping or something. Yeah.
Definitely I definitely understand like when I write sometimes I get to where I'm kind of performing it in my head or performing
Yeah.
it while I'm writing and then you put it together and people think you put it together and then people like this sound like something being a musical or a
Yeah.
performance or something. I need her to perform it, don't tell
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
you're a writer or a singer, perform it, put on the
Yeah.
spot, they gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah. That's the life of an artist too. Like that's something I had to get used to, especially when I was going through like my singing phase.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers, I want to hear it like they say, oh, do it right quick. It's like, God damn, I don't. That's like the one thing most singers, most, not all, most singers hate. But it's like, all right, fuck it, because it's true. Like my mom used to teach me like even with the poetry and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of her lessons was always, okay, so what if you in the elevator? It's a terrible reference now. But she's like, what if you're in the elevator with Diddy or something and y'all happen to talk and you tell him you sing and he tell you to sing, what you gonna do? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck, all right, I gotta sing. Like she'd do that randomly, just walk up
Right.
to me like we in the elevator with Diddy, sing. Shit. Like like, said I'm nervous. No, you can't put me on the spot like that. But that was,
Baby,
training.
at every given moment, you need to take advantage of it.
Hmm. I'm learning that as I get
Mhm.
older. Yeah.
Yes. Can you recall a specific moment or event that set you on your path to where you are today?
Ooh, yep. It's actually um from my first poetry book, The Boy Who Lucid
Mm-hmm.
Dreamed. um, the first poem in here, and again, like I mentioned, going through shit with relationships and stuff like that. I never really like dated a lot and did things like
Mm-hmm.
that until college, and then it was like fell in love and just got devastated, you know. And I wrote like all about this nigga. I had to get it out, and I didn't realize how much it was a mixture of how much I was feeling and how much creativity I had. Because
Mm-hmm.
at some point it was like me getting shit out, but it was also like, well, well, what if I said it like this? Like, how can I, like, before I knew it, I had notebooks about the situation, like literal notebooks full. But specifically, that very first one was the one that I wrote that I mean, I named the poetry book after it. Like, it was just like something felt different when I wrote it,
Right.
and I was
All
like,
right.
"Damn, I wrote that." Okay.
Since you wrote about it and the love situation, everything, do you think
Mhm.
the person you was in a situation with ever read your book, or did you speak on it to them?
Um, it'll be funny if they read the book. Um, I don't. I'm at the time I didn't tell him about the poetry, but I did used to post some of it, so he may have seen
Mm-hmm.
something then. But as far as like the book, the situation was like 10 years prior to the book like releasing. So
Right.
I I I have no idea. If he has, what up? Thanks for the buy.
Right. Thanks for the vibe. Thanks for
Thanks
the
for the
whole,
purchase.
story that I wrote about you.
Mhm. Thanks for the
Right.
heartbreak. It fueled lots of art. Yes.
Yeah, we all have heartbreaks. I wish it never happens, but it's something that we
No,
learn from.
I think, and I mean, I will never sign up to just get my shit broken, Jesus. But I think, I think it's helpful. Cause yeah, it sucks, but like I learned so much more depth to
Mm-hmm.
my gift because of that. Because I'm not even just that. Like I've had a couple other moments, like some of those darker moments. I think for artists, kind of fuels more of our creativity because we have to really dive in to create something, and like we're ripping out a piece of our soul almost,
Yeah,
So I don't know. Fuck it, break my heart. I mean, I don't. Please don't.
you
But like, fuck it.
you right. It does fuel us out, so it just bring
Yeah,
more
let's
of
see what else
us
I can
out.
make.
See what else I
Yeah,
can do. I could write a manuscript, a
right,
song. I'm gonna be on some Netflix
right.
series.
I'm gonna be in a little Lifetime movie, acting my ass off. Think about yours. God
Ooh,
damn it.
that would be nice. Or a sci-fi
Ooh,
show. Ooh.
I'm telling you, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what was one of the most challenging situations you have faced, and how did you navigate through it?
Like in regards to like writing.
In regards to writing, being an author, and your other
Mhm.
aspects
Yeah,
in life careers.
yeah. Oh man, okay. Shit. I would say so the big thing that actually has always, again, like how we were kind of just touching on it,
Mm-hmm.
heartbreak has actually been my biggest like creative motivator for like songs and poetry. And I think the most challenging thing, and it's something I've kind of been through more than once, unfortunately, is having to watch somebody that I love somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I've recently had to go through, like as of within the past year. So it's like, again, I've been through it before, but it's like shit. That's it's really challenging. That's very difficult to kind of get through. So with writing, that's like my haven to get it out. and
Mhm.
express the anger, express the sad, express the jealous, express all these things and be able to like breathe and still kind of be okay. And I'll say the
Right.
most challenging with the recent situation is like any other time I may have happened or dealt with that, I could kind of walk away. The more recent time, it was somebody from a friend group, so it was like something I had to watch almost.
Oh, I
So
hate
yeah, so
that.
that's yeah. So that was tough, and I'm still like releasing it. Um,
Mhm.
but again, I found new depths again to my art, so I'm just making good ass art.
Right. Coping methods,
Yeah,
coping methods. It's a
yeah.
way to help get it out, like you said, to get it out. And sometimes when you're writing, I know me when I'm writing, I get it out, but then I was like, is this person? Is he gonna read what I just wrote? Is he gonna feel it? Maybe I just need to get it out. Da 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 da. In a poem, I'm gonna speak
Yep.
this poem to you. I hope you like it. It's about you.
Right. On your Jill Scott shit.
Right. I'm Jill Scott, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I'll say another thing too. Like as I kind of thought about it as we were talking about that,
Mhm.
um, is coming back to certain artistic like um mediums and stuff when you fall off of them.
Mhm.
Like I think when you do multiple things, sometimes again, like I mentioned, some shit can take a back seat. So as much as I'm a
Right.
writer now, and you know, it was like a little second where I wasn't writing at all. So it's like
Mhm.
trying to get back into the groove of those things. So like recently I'm trying to get back into my music, and it's like shit, like it takes like a little build up shit like
Right.
so yeah.
Gotta have the motivation or something need to hit me. Cause I feel
Yeah,
you
something
like
better.
you're a jack of all trades. That really pulled me to you to do this
Yes.
because I'm like, dang, he's similar to me. Like, but then I'm like, you can
Yeah.
motivate me to get back to doing it. Cause music, I was singing, I was
I
writing,
love it. I
I
love
was
it.
acting. I'm like, me and you. I'm like,
Yes.
dang. He's telling his story. I'm gonna have to, reflect off of you. We gotta do this episode
Yes.
because I gotta
Yes.
get back
Yes.
to it. Like you said, you're gonna get through this heartbreak or whatever you went through. We all gonna
Mhm.
get through it. Show that music, get back to that music. I wanna hear that voice. All right.
Yes. 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 Lil, it's like you gotta use it. Like I think artists, we gotta look at what we can do as a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine what people do that like can't create stuff or like aren't creative, if that makes sense. Like, damn, what do you do when you need to like get something out or something? Like, I don't know, but there's a million hobbies in the world, so I'm sure there's things to do, but I just can't fathom it because I got art. Like, it don't always
Right.
have to come out the same way. Like, sometime it might come out as me dancing, sometime it might be me singing, poetry, or writing a short story. Like, it comes out in different ways because I can do those things. So it's like we have to use that as our superpower.
Super our
Yeah.
avenue, our clutch. Yeah.
Hmm. Our way to
Have
get our
you
shit out.
yes. Have you ever met Have you ever had the opportunity to meet or connect with someone you admire, and what was the experience?
Ooh. Um. So not because because I think for me sometimes, and I haven't officially met anybody that like I admire in that sense, right? But
Mhm.
like I've come across people that while speaking to them, I was like, wow, I like in the moment realized like, okay, this is what like I admire about this person, or like have different things
Mhm.
from people. So I can't think of a specific person, but I would say like for me, I just genuinely admire anybody that allows themselves to be themselves. Like I feel
Mhm.
like I've reached a point in my with being creative too. Like you have no choice but to be vulnerable. I feel like, or just an honest person, and it's like it's given me like this radar. Like I can just spot when somebody's not being real, or when it's something like, or it's
Mhm.
like sometimes some people try to do shit that's just not them. I can see that like
Mm,
like so I really for the most part just admire when I can tell somebody it's just them. I love it. It's like, yeah,
most
okay, so
definitely.
this person is this is them. Okay, what else is there? Like,
Right. What else can I see?
yeah,
Hmm.
because I like to learn from people
Mm,
too. Shit, like I think
right.
I'm a sponge. Let me what do you got? What you got for
But
me?
it's soak it in. You could always be learning something.
Yeah, yeah.
Most definitely. All right. Let's spice it up. What are
Okay.
some daily habits or routines that you believe contribute to your productivity and your success with your books and your career?
Yes. Creating every day, and that like when you say that out loud, it sounds. I know to some people it can sound intimidating, but I don't. That can mean anything. That could mean me writing a sentence for the day. That could mean me writing pages. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's the collective work. So you look up, you know what I'm saying? You do one page or two sentences and whatever, eventually that builds up. And
Right.
before you know it, you got a chapter. I got another chapter, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's that and it isn't always writing either. Like some days, because sometimes I just can't. Like, God damn it! Like maybe not today. It's just nothing. It's in there, but I just can't get it out. So maybe not today writing, but maybe today, graphic design. Maybe today photography. I have a little photo shoot. Like for me, it's the daily practice of creating something.
Right.
Um, and then the other half is trying to tap into like spirituality, and I try to
Mhm.
meditate or do yoga, um, and really just center myself a little bit because I think when your mind is a bit more clearer, when there's like not any bullshit that's kind of in the way, you can
Mhm.
hear your inspiration better,
Right.
like your ideas better, so they just come in more. Ain't nothing in the way. It's like, okay, I meditated for the day, probably going through something, but it's not in the way. And like,
Right.
what you got for me, inspiration? What you got?
Emphasis on in the way. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people go through where they go through trials, but
Mm,
it blocks them from being able to get all their um
mm,
talent out. A lot of times they let it block get their talents out. Like it's like a obstacle, a hurdle. It's just
yeah.
blocking me right now. Definitely been there where I had writing blocks and
Oof.
career blocks just
Yep.
because of lifing, even though
Mm.
lifing should have me writing head. But
Hey, I love it.
it just
Yeah.
blocked me. But
Yeah.
it's
And
there.
it happens. It happens. Yeah.
Right. And it's not like you can't just get back to writing. All you gotta do is
Hmm.
just write down what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, too, it's like it's also I think what helps, and like this one isn't like exactly daily, but
Mhm.
every couple weeks or so, I just try to look up a different style or something. Like poetry, I'll look up a different type of poetry, or
Mhm.
photography, I'll look up a different type of like photography trick that I haven't done before. Like, oh, huh, maybe I could
Mhm.
try this. Like, it's also about I think building your skill set. Like being like we
Right.
mentioned a sponge. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a writer at this point, the way that I am because I've studied so much different like types of writing and like different types of people and different genres. So it's like I can take that and make my own thing from it, from all this
Right.
different, and it just enhances my own skill set. So I think that's also really important too, to just study whatever the fuck you do, just study.
Most definitely. And so with that, I would say as you keep studying and
Mhm.
perfecting your craft and learning more skills, when it comes to marketing yourself in this industry, what services you think you should market at this level?
Mm. So more recently, actually, I've gotten into writing services, like ghostwriting
Mhm.
services. I'm working on like my first book, and then so after that, I have like my first official like accolade. I'm like, okay, well, I wrote this, so and I got 5 of my own. Got some more coming. I helped somebody else write a book. What's up? Like, hit me up. Um, so that more so, pretty much all of everything. I'm a full package, so it's like I'm marketing it all because I can, and not arrogantly, because this is shit that I've all done for years and worked and all that, but I can completely say I can do it all.
Right.
Like, so what you did, like that's pretty much where I am right now.
Definitely. I feel like when it comes to being an author, that's a conversation that needs to be started because when you think
Mm-hmm.
about being an author, a lot of times you think about, oh, okay, I'm just writing. But really, you can
Uh-huh.
turn that into an income, like you said,
Yeah,
coaching or editing or ghostwriting or
copyright and all that. Yeah.
copywriting, script writing, graphic design. If you do
Mm-hmm.
that, everything you could do, Zoom calls, Zoom sessions, teachings,
Mm-hmm.
charge, etc. Make a way. Don't just
Okay.
think of yourself as just a writer.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
That's right. Get all them talents out there.
Get it out.
It was something that just clicked one day in my head and was just like,
Mhm.
you do too goddamn much to not to be sitting here. Hello, you gotta do too much. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you sitting on a lot of money right now. Like, so yeah, yeah. Get your shit off. Get your shit off. Get it out
Right.
there. Work hard. Like,
Work hard. Now, are there any specific books that you have had a profound impact on your perspective or a outlook in life?
yeah, several. Um, so as far as spiritually, um, there is The Alchemist.
Mhm.
Actually, I think I gave that one away to somebody, but Pablo Kalo, and then the Four Agreements. That's like um, super amazing. And then the Mastery of Self.
Mastering of
Um,
self.
yeah, so I'll say those. And there's been a couple other ones that like I've been the past like 4 or 5 years. I started watching Oprah's like Super Soul Sunday, and she mentioned some books, and I was like, shit, and I just fell down the hole. But a lot of those opened my mind up to myself and just like I'll keep it there. Like really just open my mind to myself and how my relationship with myself reflects off in my relationships with everybody else. But how it just kind of starts there for me. And then just one other one is it's sort of funny, but it was like it's not even a specific one, but it's Goosebumps.
Mhm.
Um, all the Goosebumps, like it was like the first scary books I read. I'm
You just caught me off guard with that.
yeah, yeah.
Goosebumps.
What?
What?
Yeah, that it changed my life as far as like horror writing, and I was just like, damn, okay, all right, I think I could do this. And granted, it took like 20 years later to do it, but from there, I
Mhm.
started writing short, little 1-2 page horror stories here and there. So it was like a build up, but those definitely had an impact because it's like I never forgot it, and it started
Yeah.
me like I used to watch horror movies and stuff, but I
Mhm.
didn't read them. And then I started reading that, and I was like, maybe I can check out some other horror books. Started reading the Stephen King and shit, and it was like, oh shit, wow.
Definitely. That's a good question. Definitely been there. Like a book that really inspired me was I don't know if you ever read Copper Sun. Now I never remember who wrote it. Never. It's about the Atlantic slave trade and a young girl, and just seeing the picture on there of the sun and her melanin skin, it really tapped
Uh-huh.
into my book of melanin,
Yeah, I see
our
this.
ethnic and everything. Copper.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
even with Blue for High and them, I used to love street urban books. Yes,
Yeah.
blue Fajardo,
Oh yeah,
sexual.
I used to read. Oh, I read because my mom used to have some, so I found myself like, "Well, what's this? Zane,
Right.
Zane, what is you doing?" Like,
Right. Doing this in high school,
yeah,
it really had my mind
I'm
going like,
telling
I
you.
need to talk about this. Let's
Oh, I
go.
wrote some freaks little. I reread some
Yes.
shit I wrote some years ago in high school, and I was like, "Oh, my hormones were out of control. What is this?"
I was like, who really wrote this? That really tapped into me. I was like, oh, I can write something and I ain't did it. Or did I do it? Cause yeah, I
Right.
on that little book out Wattpad. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
First a little sexual erotic book on there. Yeah.
That's so funny. Hey, that's what's up, though.
Yeah. Right. You
Uh,
come from somewhere. You start somewhere.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So I actually that's a gem because that's another thing too. I think you gotta look at your childhood. Like it's little bits
Right.
and pieces sprinkled in to where you're go. Like you know what I'm saying to lead you to
Hmm.
where you're going. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, review
Most
your
definitely.
childhood, people.
Look at your childhood, and your childhood can really affect your adult
Mhm.
life. It
Oh
really
yeah,
can,
hell yeah,
more than people think. It shapes
yeah.
you, like, but you can't. What things happen to in your life, you can't let that circumstance, you know, just
Mhm.
be a circumstance. Like everything happens the way it does, but you can't just ponder on it. You got to move on.
Yeah,
Don't let it
yeah.
just be a circumstance, if you know what I mean. You gotta
Oh yeah,
turn
I got
something
you.
out of
You can't let yourself drown in your shit. Like
right.
it don't
Can't
mean it's not
drown in it.
important, but you can't drown in it.
Mm-mm. So tell the audience how they can get connected with you.
Yes, yes. So you can find me on Facebook, Troy D. Ryan, Instagram, Trigger Troy D. You can find me on TikTok, Trigger Troy D as well. YouTube, Trigger Troy D. And then again, 5 books on Amazon, 3 poetry books, self-help book, and a horror novel, which is my favorite that like
Right.
means I mean they all mean a lot to me, but this one is this it's my baby. It's my baby right here. It's like my Black Stephen
Empathy.
King shit, you know. So
Oh yeah. More horror stories by black people need to be written. Like I
yes,
know they
that's the best
always
thing
say that
to say.
they always say that we the first ones that get killed on scary movies.
Man, and it's changed luckily over like the past like decade. But yeah, that was like and if not if we didn't die, we had to be like the stupid like goofy motherfucker throughout the whole movie or something like it was
These
anyway.
narratives, we need to rewrite them.
Man,
Okay, we are
yes.
rewriting them, speaking it into existence. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that it was so many written black horror stories and movies. One day
Mhm.
somebody posted it. It was like a calendar. She was like, "This is the 100 days of black horror movies," and I was
Oh,
like,
that's amazing.
"Yes, she really did." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I never knew it was so many."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're in there, and that's so it's just like it's exciting to be able to put my own stamp into that world,
Mm,
but it's also just exciting just to see what else is coming out from it. You know,
right. Most definitely might be the next one with a haunted house
telling
movie
you,
out there. A
telling
haunted
you,
house movie
and I'm
out
acting in
there.
that bug too.
Right. Let's go. Tell everybody about your episode that was happening tonight at 8
Oh
p.m.
yes,
like on your
yes,
radio
yes.
station. Mm,
Yes. So it's called Love Journal After Dark. My podcast Love Journal is kind of me exploring my love life. So it's like my therapy show, but you can't fully talk about love without talking about sex. So I had to come out with Love Journal After Dark. Which is
mhm.
more so obviously my sex life. And yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. It's definitely a little freaky because that's the point, but it's also very real and it's informative. So definitely check that out. It is on the Opulence Radio app. And it comes on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern, and then depending on that, I know 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. on like the West Coast. So check that
Right.
out.
I'm excited for it. Most definitely, when I saw that, I was definitely excited because who doesn't love talking about sex? I don't care if
I'm
I
telling
ain't
you.
getting it right now. I'm still gonna talk about them memories, girl.
Okay.
Did you remember such and such? Or like I know I
Okay.
just threw out the other day. What's the most embarrassing sex story that you ever had? And I got so many
Woo!
stories.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh yeah, same, same. I might, I'm invite you. I'm have to have you on.
Yes,
I'm have
yes,
to have
yes, yes,
you
yes.
on. Yeah. Yeah, but like also too, real quick, like it's because yeah, talking about sex isn't necessarily new, and I feel like
Mm,
sex shows aren't necessarily new, but I do believe that the way that I do things is a bit different. So it's a sex show,
mhm.
but it's different.
It
It's
might
my
be
show.
different.
It's my
It's
sex
your
show.
show. It's your own
Yeah,
way. It's your
it's
show. You
different.
gonna
Yeah,
do your
yeah,
damn thing your way.
yeah.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on my show and giving them some informational facts and just being yourself. Not only that, I hope to continue to network with you and to see you
Yes,
prosper.
yes.
Stay tuned. I might be on his
Same.
show, y'all.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
you have
yeah.
a good night.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thanks. Have a good night, love.
To
Bye.
all right, y'all. It's your girl Kay, and we ended it off with a good banger. Very great episode, and I want y'all to go see his whole career aspiration. Definitely, really good motivator and successful person. And stay tuned with Troy and his love journal, his career, and stay tuned with your girl Kay. And this is the Kay's Vibe Show, and the episode about the pros and cons of being an author with Troy and your girl Kay.